There are so many words used to describe sound quality. Muddy, tinny, warm, harsh, the list goes on forever. And while we each have an idea of what these words mean, relying on subjective words like these can be really limiting. In this video, I'll focus on the biggest limitation that words like these have on us as audio engineers. I'll also teach you a trick that completely revolutionized my ability to hear, identify, and correct problems when mixing and tuning systems. But if we're just meeting, my name is Kyle. You can learn audio production online by checking out the weekly videos I post to the Audio University YouTube channel. You can learn more at audiouniversityonline.com. I won't lie, I use words like muddy, boxy, and tinny to communicate about sound quality with colleagues and clients every day. I think it's important that we have an understanding and a feel for what these words mean, especially if you're going to be working in the audio production industry. However, our job as audio engineers isn't just to be able to communicate about sound. It's also to be able to use the tools we have available to us to achieve a desired goal. And that's where these subjective words really start to lose their value, because most of the tools we have available to us, such as compressors and equalizers, they don't speak in subjective terms. When was the last time you saw a muddy knob on an equalizer? Our job is to translate the subjective listening experience into objective terms so that we can do what's necessary to achieve the end goal. Like I said, it's important to familiarize yourself with the words that most people will use to describe sound quality. We can't expect everyone to communicate in objective technical terms. So let's take a look at some of the most common words used for describing sound quality. And after that, I'll show you the trick that you can use to start to train yourself so that you can hear more objectively, so that you can identify frequencies which are objective and which do translate to the tools you have available to you. For the purposes of this video, let's divide the range of human hearing into 6 sections: sub-bass, lows, low mids, mids, high mids, and highs. For this demonstration, I'll be using a plugin by Leapwing Audio called Dyne 1. It's a very powerful multiband compressor. You can learn more with the link in the description. In the lowest ranges of human hearing, from 20 Hz up to 60 Hz, you'll find the sub-bass frequencies. Rumbly is a common word for a buildup of sub-bass frequency energy. Some problems in this range result in sloppy bass or loose bass. Above the sub-bass range, between 60 Hz and 200 Hz, is the low frequency range. You may hear the quality of this range described with words like boomy, tubby, or even punchy in some cases. The low mid-frequency range spans from 200 Hz to 700 Hz. Excessive energy in this frequency range is often described with words like muddy, boomy, and boxy. Mid-frequencies include the range of 700 Hz to 3 kHz. If a mix contains too much energy in this range, it might sound nasally, honky, or hollow. The high mid frequencies range from 3 kHz to 7 kHz. This range is sometimes described with words such as tinny, bitey, or airy. Finally, the high frequencies, from 7 kHz to 20 kHz, are found at the upper limits of human hearing. You'll often hear words like articulate, airy, or shimmery used to describe this range. You may disagree with the way I define some of these words. And if you do disagree, well, that's sort of the point of this video. We all have different ideas of what these words mean, which makes them a source of confusion more times than not. There are also many reasons why a mix could sound muddy, for example. In some situations, a muddy mix is the result of too much low-mid energy in a certain instrument. But in other situations, it could just be a lack of high-mid energy. Getting caught up on these subjective words is a good way to leave yourself feeling frustrated. And that's exactly how I felt when I first started mixing. I felt frustrated and powerless, until I found a simple ear training method that changed everything for me. A new professor came to my university, and he brought with him an ear training method that really helps audio engineers develop their ability to listen critically. After just a few months, I noticed that it was so much easier to identify problems because I could hear which frequencies were overrepresented and which frequencies were underrepresented. Not only that, but I noticed that my classmates and I stopped using words like muddy and tinny and instead started communicating in more objective terms. Like, that mix has too much 2K, that guitar has too much 250 hertz. A few weeks ago, I made a video that goes through the basics of this ear training method. You can watch that video here. However, you've been warned. Once you start to develop your ability to critically listen, there's no turning back. If you got value out of this video, hit the like button to help the Audio University channel grow. And if you want to learn more about that ear training method, watch the video that's on your screen now.